Gamer.
Hey there, sports gamers. Special treat here for you today. Mike Strauss, senior editor, sportsgamersonline.com, with marketing manager from 704 Games down in Charlotte, Sean Burke from NASCAR Heat 2. Sean, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Hot, but fantastic. A lot of buzz about the game after it was unveiled, and especially coming out of E3 where fans got to see some gameplay and you see some of the split screen multiplayer and stuff. How are you and the team down at 704 really feeling about this game, seeing all the positive energy coming out from what fans have been able to see so far?
You know, we're really excited. With NASCAR Heat Evolution last year, it was really a learning experience for us. And the team at Monster Games put that game together in about 18 months, which is pretty unheard of nowadays in the gaming industry. So we really learned a lot about, everything last year. Once the game was out, my background is social media, and, the customer is always first on social. So, I really put social first here at 704 Games. So once the game was out last year, I spent so much time talking to fans, learning about what they liked and didn't like, and then, really taking that feedback and putting it into NASCAR Heat 2. So, work on NASCAR Heat 2 started shortly after NASCAR Heat Evolution was out. So that was pretty exciting to, hear live feedback while we're already integrating it into the next game. So, we've been sitting on all of this information for months, and we're so excited to finally share it with people that split screen is back, that all three series are in the game. There's a ton of great stuff in NASCAR Heat 2 that fans have really been asking for.
Speaking of the original NASCAR Heat Evolution, there's no denying it was met with mixed reviews all over the place. How much to heart did the team take it? Did it bother the amount of mixed reviews and things like that? Or did they look at it as it's our first game back, especially it's a learning experience for all of us?
It's absolutely a learning experience. And, it's criticism is, something everyone has to deal with. So we were ready for it. We listened to it and we adapted to it. Fans have been playing NASCAR games for, decades. So for us to just pick up the license and, come out with this first game, it was really a learning experience for us. And, with social media and online reviews and all of that stuff, fans have an outlet to provide their feedback. And for us, it's so important to listen to what they have to say, because they're the ones playing the game and we want to make sure they enjoy the game.
A deeper gameplay offering with the Camping World Truck Series, with the Xfinity Series and the Monster Energy. How much deeper is NASCAR Heat 2 really compared to NASCAR Heat Evolution?
I know we had a screenshot of the menu leak out a few months ago, and, you can just see from the main menu on the gameplay screen when you boot the game up that there's a ton of more options for people to play with. They'll find the most depth in career mode, which we're still waiting to, go into detail about, but career mode has been completely rebuilt. So NASCAR Heat Evolution, you kind of started in, a 35 place finish stock car in the Monster Energy Cup Series, and you worked your way up to finishing first and, winning the chase. Opening up all three series really allowed us to create so much depth there. So now you start off in the Truck Series and you'll work your way through the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. But in there's a ton of great features that I can't talk about just yet, but that's where people will find the most depth. But online's been redone as well, so there wasn't cautions last year online. There are cautions now, and there's stage racing, 40-player multiplayer, and this year you can add AI cars online, which is pretty exciting as well. So that creates a ton of depth in online. So if you and a buddy want to hop on, you can fill the field with 38 cars. If you want to, you can just race head-to-head if you'd like. But that right there just creates so much to do. And then even in Race Now mode, adding the other series, we had to add in 6 more tracks that the Cup Series doesn't race on. And that's 3 road courses, 2 ovals, and Eldora, of course. And, I've played the road courses. They're a ton of fun. Eldora is absolutely a different gameplay experience than any of the other tracks. So there's just so much more to do there, and people are going to have a lot a lot to play.
Speaking of so much more to do, one of the issues some people seem to have was customization from NASCAR Heat Evolution. Basically, when it came to your car, it wasn't it kind of felt to many, and I'll be honest, I was one of them, that you couldn't really make your car your own. Has that been addressed for this year's game?
So are you talking about like the way the car handles or the way the car looks?
Handles and looks, the full package.
So we're still kind of working in a full-on, custom paint booth. That's not going to be in NASCAR Heat 2 yet, but it's something we're looking at long-term. But there is more personalization and customization versus last year. So you'll have the option to, change the color of your career car. You'll have different templates that you can put on your car. You can't create a custom logo or anything like that, but there'll be some pre-made stuff that you can put on the car, change the color to really make it your own. As far as setups go, setups will be the same as last year, but you'll have more predetermined options. So now, before there was, the setup for people who, aren't diehard racing fans. They just want to get in there and bang other cars and not have any repercussions. And then you had the custom setup option where you had all of those different menu options and you could tweak stuff to however you wanted. We found that there was really, a middle group of people that didn't want the easiness of, bumping into other cars and not having any repercussions. And then they jumped into that setup menu and they were completely overwhelmed and had no idea what to do. So this year we've made 2 custom setups for each track, kind of a loose setup and a tight setup. So say you don't want to tinker with all of those different menu options, you'll have 2 predetermined setups per track to kind of get a better feel and find the one you like and have a good racing experience.
How do you find, when it comes to those racing experiences, how is a balance between those fans who love the hardcore sim racers that you see play games like Forza Motorsport and even the iRacing.com, things like that, and those casual gamers who just want to get in a car and go? How do you find that balance in order to kind of appeal to both parties?
It's tough. It's tough to find that sweet spot because, you can completely alienate one crowd and, that's obviously not what we want to do. So it really is just tinkering with the way the cars feel and making sure that people have a good experience. So the setups, the AI, all of those little things really go into how do we make this game enjoyable for, an 8-year-old kid and, a 20-year-old who likes to play Forza. It's like trying to balance the expectations as well. So really just getting in there and fine-tuning everything takes a ton of work, but we really want to make the game accessible to everyone first and foremost.
Getting the roster of racers, what is the cutoff like? Like, I know if I look at, say, like the WWE video games, they go usually by April, they cut off who's going to be in the game. For NASCAR, especially with the game coming out so late in the season, how does getting the roster of drivers work out that way?
So, last year we had 43 drivers when the game shipped, and that was pretty much it. And that was more of a timing thing than anything else. And this year, now that, the game has been built, we've really taken a big, wide-armed approach to NASCAR Heat 2. So we've been trying to pack as many drivers as possible into this game. So we'll do roster reveals leading up to release, but there are a lot of drivers for people to choose from.
How much has AI changed? I noticed with NASCAR Heat Evolution, drafting and 3 wides and pack racing in general and things like that and bump drafting didn't really seem to exist all that much. It was basically you were on your own and the AI just didn't care what you were doing and they just went for what they want to do. How has the AI kind of been addressed in this game?
So bump drafting and side drafting is something that Monster completely reworked. So they noticed the issues that fans were having and wanted to make it perfect because, at those tracks like Daytona and Talladega, you really the bump drafting and side drafting are everything. So if that doesn't work, people don't have a very good experience. So they completely reworked it. So now, bump drafting works, side drafting works, and it creates, that more competitive feel to those tracks where you actually, work with and against the AI, and it creates an added layer of depth to the racing and really, challenges people to fine tune their skills.
What's been done to the game's presentation? It was like commentary, just overlays, graphics, visuals in a way, in order to kind of add to the authenticity that fans see on Sundays or Saturdays or Fridays, whatever day they're watching a race.
Yeah, so you'll notice, obviously, the big change this year is Monster Energy came over as the primary sponsor for the Cup Series. And, we really tried to embrace that as much as possible. So the UI has been completely scrapped and redone to kind of reflect that new vibe that Monster Energy brings to NASCAR. So you'll notice that the menus are a little bit grittier. The songs are going to be a little more hardcore, leaning towards the rock side. We tried to make it as close to Monster as possible so people felt more immersed into the NASCAR experience. And beyond that, adding in certain gameplay elements to make sure people have that race day feel. So there's blimps in the sky now. You'll have flags waving in the background. After you win a race, there's a little, cut scene with you celebrating on top of your car. The race intros have been redone. It's just really trying to create that NASCAR race day feel through added elements through the UI and presentation and different features like that.
Are you given, speaking of the NASCAR race day feel little thing, are you given the option to do, say, burnouts or victory lap after winning a race, or does it go straight into the cutscene?
It goes straight into the cutscene right now. But we, once again, back to social media, we've been looking at what fans have been saying about burnouts. And it's something we're looking into, but I can't really make any promises right now.
One thing that I know fans appreciated was the fact that after Evolution came out, there was post-launch content as far as paint jobs. I know everybody, the Brad Keselowski thing put everybody in a fit, because I know a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to get sponsors, especially in a sport where everything is sponsored, including the toenails on a racer's foot. But to see the response of that, is that something that's going to be continued going forward? Obviously, the focus is still getting the game ready for launch, but getting content, if, say, a sponsorship changes like that and you can get the rights to it, or a paint job, or just commentary, like having Bobby Labonte come in and be the spotter. Is that type of stuff, post-launch content, something the team prides itself on in order to show, hey, we're listening?
Yeah, so we will have paid and free DLC again this year. So we're excited to bring that back. Pretty much, most of the features that were added in NASCAR Heat Evolution as a patch will be in NASCAR Heat 2 from the start. So like beer schemes, for example, the age gate, that's going to be in the game from the start this year. With the 2017 team update for NASCAR Heat Evolution, we brought in Budweiser for the first time, so we're excited to have them back. So yeah, it's really just making that experience more immersive post-launch, because people are still playing the game. They still want new content. So we're happy to provide, free and paid content for people to enjoy the game even more.
How important was it to get online right this time around after I can kind of say some backlash based on the fact of what you talked about earlier, the no yellow flags and things like that?
Yeah, so, online was really light last year feature-wise, and, a lot of people play online with racing games, especially, and, with NASCAR racing games. Since I first started at 704 Games, there's been a huge amount of fans who have leagues, so they have their buddies and they race with them once a week, and they, have the same car that they race, and they keep track of their stats and stuff like that. So there's this huge community out there who likes to race online. And, we really wanted to make online better for these people. So cautions was huge. Having all of these new features online, and, it really makes it more immersive and more fun, because at the end of the day, you're not going to race online if you're not having a good experience. So adding in all of these new features really gives people more reasons to hop online, race with a friend, or 39 other friends, the AI cars. There's just a ton online to make it more immersive. You can race all 3 series online now. So if you wanted to do truck races or Xfinity races, you'll have that option too. So online is just, more robust all around. And, online is such a huge feature of video games nowadays. I mean, you think of Call of Duty and Star Wars, like all of these games online, they almost have an online first mentality with some of these games. So we're not to that level yet, and I'm not trying to sell us on that level, but we're absolutely thinking about our online players. And, I think a few years down the road, we'll have some great features for people.
A big thanks to Sean for joining me here at Sports Gamers Online. I hope y'all enjoyed the content, and be sure to subscribe to SGO and visit us at sportsgamersonline.com, at twitter.com/sportsgamerson, and facebook.com/sportsgamersonline for all of the great NASCAR Heat 2 content coming your way.